Hello everybody, this is Alberto Kennedy, aka Grimoire. This video is going to be about elementals. What are elementals? And I have my notes right here, so I'm looking at my notes. This is my second take. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is my second take because I get on this topic, but I do have a bad habit of meandering. So I'm gonna try to stay on topic. Okay. What are elementals? Okay. They've been called many names through many different cultures all over the world. From the Fae, Tuatha De Danann, nature spirits, daemons, the genius or Janai, changelings, shapeshifters, water babies, nymphs, Native American skinwalkers, African Azazel, etc. I could go on. All over the world. Elementals are in all the ancient lore the world over. What are they? Well, this is my belief, and through my research that I have done, that I'm sharing with you right now, these beings have existed before and during the formation of Earth. Okay? They predate the advent of humanity. They were the first race before us, on this planet at least. These beings evolved during the very formation of the Earth itself. So when the Earth was a gaseous hellscape of molten rock, steam, and all that good stuff, all that gas, and the atmosphere and whatnot. But when the atmosphere was barely forming, when the Earth was forming, they were here. They were living in that, So it makes sense that these beings, these elementals, merged with air, with fire, with water, with earth, with sky. They merged with all that because they were here when it was forming. They are not physical. They are incorporeal. They can physicalize because they've mastered the physical realm. It's nothing to them. They can become here, they can become physical, and then not. Interesting enough, these elemental beings have another name. And they are mentioned in the Quran. In the Quran, it is mentioned that God created three races: the angels, the angels, the elementals, and mankind. However, they didn't call them elementals back in those days. They called them the Jinn. The Jinn were the beings that were here when the earth was being formed. The jinns predate humanity. Some of these jinns ascended, and when they ascended, they became what became part of the angelic order, which was the highest gift possible, right? Now, not all jinns were of the light. Not all jinns were happy that the new creation, man, humanity. And that is where you can find parallels in the Quran and Christianity. And the Bible. The fallen angels. What made them fallen? Just because they were warring with God and said, "I don't like you no more." No, I don't think so. It has to be something more pivotal. What was the catalyst for the fall? Well, the catalyst for the fall for both jinn and angel alike was that some of the jinn and some of the angel were not happy at the third creation, which was humanity. And they would not acknowledge humanity. They would not honor humanity. And they were pissed at the creation of humanity. We were an affront to some of these jinn and angels. So hence the fall. War broke out. and they fell. Now, that's how the ancient texts go. I am obviously paraphrasing, but do your research, on Jinn. What are they? Who are they? Another parallel you can find is in the Hebrew texts. There is an angel named Azazel, not to be confused with Azrael. Azrael is the angel of death in Hebrew texts. Azazel, or Azazel, has another name in the Quran. Iblis. Iblis. Iblis is Azazel. They're one and the same. And Iblis is Jinn. Jinn. This Iblis was a Jinn who ascended, one of the many Jinn who ascended to the ranks of angels, and was taught and was accepted into the fold, and all that. Well, he's also one of the angels one of the Jinn that rebelled and was part of the rebellion. Again, not all Jinn are bad, not all angels are bad. But it must be said, when we talk about demons and the look of the demons, the horns, the dark and the scary and all that, and always associated with fire, and the name Satan and all that. Well, all that comes from a term, an Arabic term, shayateen. And that sounds similar? Shayateen, Satan. Ew. Okay, let's not talk about that anymore. It gives me the creeps. But the shayateen is an order of jinn that is associated with fire. And the jinn are associated with all elements. Keep in mind, they bonded with the elements because they were in full effect when the earth was forming. Okay, so to answer that question, what are elementals? Elementals are jinn. When we talk about demons and all that, some are jinn, not just fallen angels. Some are jinn. Some are primal, ancient. But not all of them were angelic. The jinn, the good jinn, and the jinn in general. Well, let me separate, because there's a shayateen, and then there's different jinn. A good jinn, you won't ever see one, because they don't want to interrupt our evolutionary process. That's, in spiritual terms, bad form, to interrupt some being's evolution, spiritual evolution. Jinn, you can they inhabit areas that are inhospitable to humanity. Places like crazy hot deserts, places like underground caves and caverns, places where humanity or humans can't live or can't live comfortably, because we tend to go everywhere. But the jinn are usually found in those areas. Mountaintops, highest mountains where there's very little oxygen, where it's super freezing, and where you just can't live, They love those areas because it's human free, and they can live there easily, A good jinn, like I said, you would never encounter one because they would never interrupt your evolution. And there are some jinn that do help, just like there's some angels that do help in our spiritual evolution, but they would do it behind the scenes and you won't even ever know that they're doing that because they don't want contact, because it's out of respect, and they only get involved to protect you from spiritual danger, spiritual evil. Okay? That's what the good jinn does. The bad jinn, their power And how they interact is through corruption. And they're good at that. You know, the whole mythology about the genie and the bottle and giving you 3 wishes and all that. Well, that's more allegorical. And that's kind of a hint at what they do in terms of corruption. And let's put it this way. How would you feel if you met this one person, you met a person, a stranger, comes up to you, and he offers you $10 million. And he says, you know, I just want to give it to you and everything, but I'll need a favor later. Would you accept that 10 million? I know some of you would say, yes, but then I wouldn't give him the favor. Yeah, don't work that way. If you accept the 10 million, you're going to do the favor. Well, that's similar in a sense that the Jinn, anything that you get from a Jinn, you know, or a demon, or something of that nature, when they just give you stuff, you know, do you really think it's because you're special? Do you really think it's because you have power over them? A lot of the black magicians, when they call up demons and everything, they don't even, pardon my French, they don't even freaking know they're dealing with a Jinn. And they know bargain. They know how to bargain. They know how to negotiate. They know how to deal, and they know how to lie. Like, you're going to have power over this entity that was alive and full on when the earth was forming. You somehow have that one magical Solomon spell that's going to control that Jinn. No. You're being lied to. You're being manipulated. They're good at that. The bad Jinn are good at that. And they're going to get in that ass. Some of these elemental Jinn, you know, they feed. Slowly, but they feed. And you'll notice that you have aches and pains. You notice that, you know, you have all sorts of things going on in your life, and it's confusing. You know, what's going on? How come I'm pushing people away? How come people are just being assholes to me out of the blue? They can they can distort your rationale, what you see. They can distort your personality. They have entrance into you. They possess. Okay? They corrupt. That's what they do. Like I said, the good Jinn, you won't ever see one, you won't ever know, because they don't deal with you directly. They'll inspire. And they operate much the same way the angelic presence does. You know, because those that ascended work the same way an angel does. The Jinn, like I said, not all of them are bad. Let me just throw that out there again. Not all of them are bad. But the elementals, when you go to a place where the Jinn or an elemental is, sometimes the land is not good for human, you know, habitation. Graveyards, mass graves, sacred lands, things of that nature, you know. You know, when you walk into, for example, when a haunted house is built on a land that way too much massacre and death and all that happened, that's already spoken for. That's a Jinn territory, because that land is not good for human habitation, but it's excellent for a Jinn, and it's even excellent for a shayateen. And you go into that land and you build a home and you set up shop in a place that's specifically for a shayateen. You know, grab some toilet paper because it's about to get shitty. That they're not going to have it, and it'll be Horrible. Horrible. The elementals or the shayateen or the jinn, they inhabit places that is not good for human habitation or that's inhospitable physically and spiritually. And that's the information that I have to share with you guys about what are elementals. They are jinn. And do your research on the jinn. Do your research on Azazel, Iblis. Do your research on also corruption. Because right now, in this day and age, I'll conclude with this, there's a lot of corruption going on in the world. Local, provincial, global, cosmopolitan, on all levels, a lot of corruption. Analyze yourself. Have you been corrupted in your ideals, in your belief system, and what you want for you and what you want for the world? Is that balanced, inside yourself? This is a time where we need to analyze our spirit and protect ourselves from corruption, because it's serious right now. And I just share that with you. What is an elemental? A jinn. If you have any questions, let me know. Just trying to bring light to dark places. I hope I have. I wanted to discuss what an elemental is and go into that through my research and whatnot. But I also want to discuss the corruption aspect because that's what they do and that's what they're doing in this day and age. What the ancients knew was more than mythology and superstition. What the ancestors knew was more than mythology and superstition. They were telling us what was going down, and we need to remember the ancient stories because it's happening now with the corruption in the world. And we need to protect ourselves and protect others if they so choose, if they want it, because that's what we're here for. We're not here just to evolve. We're here to help other people spiritually evolve too, if they want it. And by helping, you guide, and you just listen, and you be there for them, and you accept, and you love. If you can't do that, then analyze what might be corrupting your ability to do that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll come back with more videos, bringing light to dark places. Let's all do that. And thank you. Bye.
Tonto el que no entienda, cuenta una leyenda que una hembra gitana conjuró a la luna.